My name is Whitney Mwangi. I am the founder of the Storybook Enterprise. And what does being a woman mean for me? That's an interesting question. So I feel that I am at the utmost sense of my femininity as a woman. And the role that I believe I play in my life, in those around me, and in the society is to bring depth. So while everyone is focused on going forward, I bring the essence of where we're going. If it's purpose, what does it really mean? And as a woman, I believe that the essence of femininity, the essence of womanhood, is being able to bring color to the environment, to the situation, to the season, and basically spice it up, make it more playful, give it a meaningful essence such that when we leave that place, when we leave that environment, when we leave that office, it wasn't just a day where we activated, we moved objectives forward, but we also brought life into existence. I am very fortunate to be in a field where I get to encounter many women who are in the innovation, technology, and research and development field. Some of the women that I have come across in the recent months are actually part of the African Union Innovation Program. And I see them striving personally, professionally, to be able to remain relevant in the sector in Africa as we all strive towards contributing to Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals, and also an Africa that is premised on a strong ability to lead in innovation and technology. During the COVID-19 lockdowns, I was privileged to be a part of a program that is funded by GIZ and executed by the Africa CDC that was basically on innovation. How do we tell the conversation about health, communicate about it, talk about what Africans are doing at that level, but leveraging on innovative capacities? And one of the organizations that we partnered with, CC Hub, the director is actually a woman. I was very inspired to see how she can bring together different accounts, different partners in terms of fundraising, partnership, and different youth across different countries, looking at what are the innovations that they are currently developing and how can we use them to reach the grassroots, talking about COVID-19. So this was a starter for me. I believe it's the most recent example that I can give. And lots of people don't actually know about this program, yet it was one of the greatest attestments to show that in terms of crisis, Africa is ready. We are ready with the innovations, we are ready with our ideas, and we are ready to execute and run. We just need funding, we need support, and hey, we need women at the center, at the top, at the beginning, and we need to hear the voices being represented in the innovation and technology field. Inequality is expensive. Exclusion of women is even more expensive because think about it. The beginning of any generation is brought forth by a woman. So what does it really mean for us when we exclude women? It means that we have cut off the prosperity of the coming generation. So while this report by the UN Women that indicates that we are going down in trillions of funding, this is costing our gross domestic product and our whole value as a continent, as countries. While that is measured in terms of money, I'm looking at that in terms of life, in terms of quality, in terms of productivity. And on my part, I know that times when I have been secluded, when I have been left out, that my voice as a person who represents youth, as a person who represents the health perspective of advocacy and policies, which matters to its essence, that the people who are going to benefit from my contribution, they were at a loss just because my space was empty, my space was dark. In a recent interview that I was part of, it's called Equal Everywhere, run by the United Nations Foundation, they asked me what fuels my passion for equality. And my answer was that we matter. Everyone matters. Your story matters. Every single thing that you have to bring to the table, your background, your perception, your experiences, they all matter. So even moving from the perspective of it being women being left behind, even the men who stand behind the women, they need to be given a space where they can talk about why it's important to stand beside and lift women so that there's that representation. So in terms of equality, I would say that in an ideal world, a woman has her space to be a balanced leader, to be a good friend, a healthy mate, and still blow the blows at work and win as is necessary. And that's the only way we can talk about equality beyond it having a monetary consequence when women are left behind. The thing I love about the digital space is that you can reach the entire globe from the comfort of your house. You can be in the kitchen, film a video about an innovation or a creative recipe that you've created, and it will reach everyone. So this is a power that we cannot take for granted. We have to put ourselves in front. We have to put ourselves out there. We have to create, innovate, think, ideate, and collaborate, and make sure that in every room that we can arrive before we reach, meaning that we can be there digitally, that we take advantage of those opportunities. As a communication person, this is something that I value, I hold dearly to my heart. And even as an entrepreneur who pushes a creative social enterprise, this is also an agenda that I hold very dear to my heart, because I know that were it not for the digital space, were it not for innovations such as our e-commerce shop, such as the podcast, we would be one of those people who tell stories in their basement. No one knows what's going on. No one can attest to the impact and the value, but because there is the internet, we have an open space, it's free, the impact is wider, the reach is wider, and it doesn't cost us much. Now, the aspect that we need to think about is how responsible are we when it comes to the digital space. As a young woman, it's not just about putting anything out. It's not just about being present, everyone can see you. It's about bringing the essence of your purpose, of your gifts, your talents, your abilities, and using that to shine light, using that to educate, empower, inspire, and uplift fellow African women, because we need that. There is a world that exists outside of the shell that we sit in, and only the digital space can give that to us by allowing us an opportunity to share our stories. Imposter syndrome. Where can I even start with this? The thing is, no one should lie to you that you will not experience imposter syndrome at one season of your life or another. You know, I used to think that the presence of fear meant that I was incapable. But the more I continue to interact with other people, other women who've gone ahead of me, I realize that fear is a constant factor in your growth process. Now, your ability to push through that, your ability to empower and talk yourself into the process of going beyond that, that is what shifts you. That is what makes the difference between you and a person who allowed for imposter syndrome to push them down. I will tell you that just the other day I was listening to an interview done on Michelle Obama, and to my surprise, even at her age now, she's talking about how these seasons of now coming out of the White House caused her to reflect upon herself and her new identity. How can she manifest in this new person that she is? And I was wondering that what if I waited until I was her age to talk myself out of imposter syndrome? I would have missed out on everything. I would have missed out on this opportunity to talk to you on this interview. So I will say that the thing that I said to myself, that I will no longer be a thermometer and a thermostat, that I adjust to the temperature of the rooms that I walk into. I am the woman who will decide who I am, what do I bring to the table, and how can I bring it confidently. However that shows up, sometimes I will be fearful, sometimes I will be afraid, but you know what? At some point, I will be confident. At some point, I will learn that that fear is a voice telling me that this space is bigger than me. But if I give it a chance, I will learn that I am bigger than it. And I will step ahead, I will push through, and I will get it done. So I will say to the women, don't be afraid of the storm. Just know that you are made for the storm. And the mountain that is given unto you, it's because it's known that you can conquer it, and it's because other people are going to learn that this is a mountain, it's a giant that can be slayed through your story. So stand tall, push through, cry if you have to, okay? But remember that joy comes in the morning. Yeah, thank you.
So, be sure to connect with us on social media at thestorybook_ENT on Instagram, The Storybook ENT on Facebook, at storybook_ENT on Twitter.